We can't talk enough about the late Mets Magic Thursday night that led to another miraculous comeback. OMG, they're moving on to the NLDS to play the Phillies. So let's get the Fanalist response to all things amazing from Ben Yoel. Yoel! I wanted to do that since you jumped on the Zoom. What's going on, my man? How you feeling today?
I'm doing well. I'm very happy to be here. Very excited after last night.
All right. I want to know your reaction to last night's win, and we'll start with the reaction to Polar Bear Pete's ninth inning go-ahead home run, and then give us your thoughts on the win.
I mean, I wish I could say I was completely surprised, but I did tweet earlier in the day that I thought Pete Alonso was going to hit a big home run. And I didn't know how big it would be, but once it happened, my emotions ranged from pure elation to happiness because with Pete Alonso, he struggled a lot this year, and from top to bottom, the postseason has not been great for Pete, and the fan reaction really has been sour. A lot of people have been saying a lot of negative things. So for him to be able to do what he did last night and have that big moment and what could have been his last at bat as a Met to be able to hit one of the biggest home runs in franchise history, I'm so happy for him. And I'm really happy for everybody that's a Mets fan that we got to all share that moment. Just amazing.
All right, I thought when I said like your reaction, my reaction was, "Oh snap! He really just did it!" And I woke my baby boy up. So I want that reaction, and then give us your thoughts on the win.
My reaction instantly was, "Oh my God." And I got down on both knees. I think I put my head on the ground because I was shaking. I had to almost check myself with the earth and just be,
All right.
I just couldn't even believe that I was living in that moment.
All right, get this guy some air. Just fan this guy down. All right, you talked about Pete Alonso and how he kind of struggled at points throughout the season. Same thing for Francisco Lindor, and both of these guys came alive, and they've made some of the biggest plays in the biggest moments of this playoff run. So the floor is yours, man. In New York, a lot of people hate, and the hate gets retweeted. Give these dudes their flowers. The floor is yours. Go.
Yeah, we all know hate sells, unfortunately. But with Francisco Lindor, he started out the season slow, but for what he's been able to do to carry this franchise, to put it on his back to the point where he's actually having back problems, it's been nothing but amazing. I mean, in any other season, if there was no Shohei Ohtani, this guy would be a runaway MVP. What he's been able to do both on both sides of the ball, both offensively and defensively, it's been amazing to watch. I mean, this guy is going to go down as one of the greatest players in franchise history, and maybe we'll be talking about maybe the best shortstop in New York history when it's all done.
That's a bold statement because there's a guy named Derek Jeter that played in the Bronx. The El Capitan was the man. That's
All
the
the
part we
respect.
gotta clip that. We're gonna put that out there. If you get some people up in your comments, you did it to yourself. All right, let's go back to the series, man. What grade would you give the Mets for the entire series, and why? What did you like and what did you not like?
It'd be tempting to say an A because, I mean, nobody expected the Mets to be here. I mean, they've been shocking everybody from the beginning of the year, ever since Jorge Lopez threw that glove in the stands. I mean, it was like rock bottom, and what they've been able to do from, what they say with the grimace era since then has been nothing short of amazing. And I want to give them an A, but I'd probably say like a B plus just because there were times when the offense did go silent. But they did it when it mattered. When their backs were against the wall down to their final three outs for Lindor to have that amazing at-bat and get on base, and then Nimmo, who lost his grandma last night, I'm sure that at-bat he would definitely say was for her. He gets on base. And then Pete Alonso, who has not really had great at-bats this postseason, worked a great count and got a great pitch from one of the best closers in baseball, and he drove it the other way. And, this is why you can never doubt this team. Just when they have their backs against the wall, they surprise everybody, and now they're moving on to face the Phillies.
Another magical moment for the Mets. And now let's talk about that NLDS series. But before we get into detail, I want to get your thoughts on something. Our New York Post Mets writer, Mike Puma, reported that the Mets are considering activating Kodai Senga for their National League Division Series roster. Thumbs up, thumbs down on activating Senga. Do you think that the NLDS is too big of a series to activate a guy who only pitched around 5 innings the entire season?
2 thumbs up. And I'll tell you
really? Okay.
This guy has, they were trying to get him back toward the end of the year and make a start. He pitched in the minor leagues. I think if I'm not wrong, he had a little bit of calf trouble, and they kind of shut him down a little bit because they didn't want him to re-aggravate any injury. But the postseason is all about getting innings and getting outs. And even if you don't necessarily use him as a starter, he has that ghost fork where he can get outs with it. Maybe you see him used as a bullpen arm late in the game or middle innings. He's a guy who's a weapon, and I'm all for putting him on the postseason roster and letting him get people out.
All right, Kodai Senga. He did pitch 25 pitches in a bullpen session earlier this week. Mike Puma reported that as well, so that's something to keep an eye on. Early thoughts on the Phillies series and the Phillies as a team and organization as whole, man. The floor is yours.
The Phillies, I'm going to give them their flowers. They've played like the best team in baseball this year. I mean, they've got a great rotation, a lineup from top to bottom that hits, and a very solid bullpen. I think that this is going to be a more even series than people think, though, because the Mets are playing really great baseball right now. And I could definitely see it going 5. I mean, the Mets and the Phillies, if I'm not mistaken, the Mets were 6-7 against the Phillies, so just about 500 baseball this year. So I would say that this is going to be a very tight series. And, as much as the Mets are kind of playing with house money right now, I will be very happy to see them move on and potentially play in the NLCS, and we'll see what happens. But I'm very excited about where they are right now.
All right, Ben, tell the people they can find you.
They can find me at Ben_Yoel on Twitter.
Another underscore person. What is it with the underscores in the profile names?
I don't want people to think it was one long name. I had to do
okay.
_UL. Separates it a little bit.
All right, I'll pump my brakes on that one, man. All right, but thanks for hopping on with us, man. We got to get you back on.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.